Welcome back. My name is Niles Lee. I'm a local real estate agent here in the state of Minnesota. Today, I'm presenting you with some statistics from SPAR. SPAR is the St. Paul Area Association of Realtors, and I believe they release these statistics and also newsletters and more. These statistics, though, are specifically in collaboration with MAR, which is a Minneapolis-focused association, whereas this is a St. Paul-focused association. If you are interested in learning anything regarding these statistics or just more context into the Minnesota housing market, they're a great resource and you can reach them at the link in the description. I highly encourage it. These statistics are specifically for a 13 county region that you should be able to see depicted on the screen here in the state of Minnesota. Furthermore, these statistics are specifically regarding the month of January 2025, and these are year-over-year statistics, meaning that we're comparing January of this year to January of last year. Let's get into it. First, new listings are up about 7.6% year over year. This is a positive thing for us to see. This means that there's more inventory coming onto the market for this January compared to the way it was in last year's January. Closed sales, this has also risen to 7.5%, right? These percentages that I'm calling out, this is the percentage change, right? The actual number by which it's changed looks a little bit different. So closed sales back in 2024 were at 2,189 closed sales, whereas January of this year, it's at 2,353 sales, okay? So that's a 7.5% increase or uptick. The last one for this section is the median sales price, which increased 4.2% to a median sales price being $370,000. Now, if we look at the context of the greater U.S. market presented by the St. Louis Federal Reserve, I was an econ major in college, and all of my professors love using this as a resource, which is the Federal Reserve, so why would you not want to? But as you can see in the context of this graph, we kind of reached a high in the fourth quarter of 2022, I believe, getting close to 420,000 being the median sales price. And now we've kind of declined from that trend, being closer to the whole number of $400,000 being the median sales price across the US. Awesome. Now let's look at inventory and market conditions, right? Total inventory actually dropped 2.6% year over year, meaning that there's fewer homes available on the overall market for these 13 counties. Next is monthly supply of inventory, which is currently down to 1.8 months. For January 2024, it was sitting at a level of 1.9 months. And so you might be like, dude, what are you even talking about? Monthly supply is at 1.8 months, 1.9 months. What does that mean? So how we calculate supply or monthly supply of inventory is pretty simple. It's just an equation that looks like supply is equal to active listings divided by closed sales for that given month, okay? Supply equals active listings divided by closed sales for that month. If we're underneath a 4 months supply of active listings, we're considered to be in a seller's market, whereas if we're over a 6 month supply of active listings, we're considered to be in a buyer's market. And if we're in between 6 months and 4 months, God, maybe you guessed it, it's considered to be a balanced market. Good job. The last one for this section I want to look at is days on market, otherwise known as acronym DOM. Days on market actually increased 17.9%. January's average days on market was sitting close to 56 days for 2024. But 2025's January's average days on market was sitting closer to 66 days. That's a 10-day increase, okay? So we're getting a 17.9% uptick, meaning that homes are just taking a little bit longer to sell this year comparatively to last year. Now, if you're like into myself, you might have seen some of these inventory and market condition statistics compared to the key market trends, which include new listings, closed sales, and median sales price. And you might be thinking, aren't those a bit contradictory? If we're seeing an uptick in closed listings, closed sales, but also an uptick in days on market and a downtick in inventory, isn't this contradictory? The context needed to this and some reasonings as to why there might be an increase in days on market, yet also an increase in closed sales, right? Specifically, closed sales is something that I hear and I automatically think, well, if we're getting more sales, that should mean that the average days on market should be decreasing. But there's some factors. And if you're a buyer, you could possibly attest to these factors. So why the longer days on market? One, a shift in buyer demand. So first, we're dealing with less affordability, historic highs for median sales price. Second, we're dealing with higher interest rates, right? Especially for people that haven't lived through interest rates that are currently as high as they are. We've been kind of pampered by seeing 2 to 3%, at least under 4% interest rates, okay? But in the context of 50 years, we're actually at the average for interest rates. Don't tell anybody I said that. I don't want it to be controversial, okay? I'm just telling you what I know. Also, this graph supports that. I don't know what to tell you, bro. So with the lack thereof of affordability and increasing interest rates, if I were a buyer right now, I would want to be pretty picky as well. Right, so the next piece is that new listings are coming onto the market, but maybe they're just not the right listings, okay? So in a more affordable price range, I'm seeing personally, and I'm on the MLS looking at homes literally almost every day. I'm seeing that homes that are in this affordable price range, I'm thinking under 400K. Personally, affordability to me seems closer to under like 320, but hey, everybody's got their own opinion. Right, so as I was saying, homes that are in this more affordable price range are actually taking a lot more work for buyers. What do I mean by this? If you go into a home right now that's listed under 300K, and it's kind of the size and bed bath count that people will look for, especially so a lot of buyers are looking for places that are 3-bed, 2-bath. Let's just look at the context of those homes right now. A lot of them are taking sweat equity, elbow grease, renovations. They're outdated. They need work. They're not turnkey properties, right? With you as a buyer having to pay higher prices, higher interest rates, higher monthly payments, yet what you're getting out of that is a property that needs a lot of work into it, it's not the most enticing of purchases. Right. So another factor that could be inducing a little bit longer of a time on market or average days on market could be financing and inspections. So if you have an inspection contingency on an offer, or if the certain type of financing that you're using requires an appraisal at this point in time, that could be the reason as to why the period before getting it closed is increasing. For example, if you're a buyer, less affordability and higher interest rates, you're also seeing a home that's going to take some work. So you send out an offer with an inspection contingency on it. You end up getting that offer accepted. You now are moving into the inspection period. If I were you and I got back a report from that inspection that stated a plethora of things that could use some work, then I'm using that personally as a negotiation tool, right? Either me and the seller are going to come to some terms where we're meeting in the middle, each chip in a bit to repair, to remediate, to do whatever needs to be done so that I'm getting the best deal possible, and also I'm purchasing a product that's closer to the value that I'm purchasing it at. Or I'm asking for seller concessions, or asking the seller to, hey, can you just pay for this altogether? Or I might ask the seller for a price reduction, meaning that I'm paying less for the home, but I'm also assuming all these things that are going to need some work to be put into it. So that, in the context or idea of why there could be longer days on market, makes a little bit of sense, because negotiating takes time. Getting that inspection back and getting the point on that inspection, either repaired or remediate, takes some time. In a lot of cases that I've seen personally, I haven't seen the close date get pushed out very far because we're working through some point of the inspection, whether that's negotiations or getting something repaired or ultimately paying out somebody. There could be transactions out there that are experiencing this. The same idea goes for appraisals, right? If you use financing, honestly, most financing, FHA, conventional, USDA, VA, most of these require an inspection, okay? Or sorry, an appraisal. An appraisal is simply telling you what the value of the home is based on a professional appraiser that goes out there and looks at it. And so if the appraised value and the value and the price that you're purchasing the home for, if there's discrepancies between the two, then something needs to happen. Either the buyer's going to have to be the one to carry the load of paying the difference in between these two, or ultimately you could be asking the seller to, similar to an inspection, to work on some of these points that are on a work order given to you after an appraisal. I don't want you to get too overwhelmed by those two ideas, but just the general context is, given the fact that buyers are going to be more picky right now, there could be added reasons to as why the days on market are currently increasing or existing the way that they are. Now, the last one is sellers might just be a little bit more reluctant to come to terms with the offers that they have in hand, right? If you're looking to sell your home right now, you've got really high median sales prices for homes in your area. If you're lucky enough to stay in a position where you don't need to sell your home in an extremely fast amount of time because of some other life variables going on, then you might be able to price your home a little bit above what it's actually valued at, seeing as we're leading into the spring market. And when I say spring market, I'm talking about March, April, May specifically. You might be able to price it just a little bit over what it should be valued at and be able to ride the wave moving into the spring market, which in my opinion is what I see a lot of homeowners doing with their pricing strategies at this current point in time. And because of that, they're not doing price increases because they know the market's only going to get better for them in terms of more buyers coming in. So ultimately, that could be another factor playing into these longer days on market. If I were a buyer right now, what would I do? Funny enough, you're kind of in a bit of a rough position, because if you wait any longer and you're really out in the market looking to purchase something right now, I would say it's probably not going to get less competitive for you, right? But yet you're already dealing with a lot of competition, and all of the things we've talked about previously are currently affecting you. What I would do personally is consult a real estate agent who is going to give you the best strategies possible for how to get your offer accepted. There's a lot of different tips, tricks, and levers on a purchase agreement when an agent's writing them up that could be used for tactics of negotiation. What's important to understand is that if you consult the right real estate agent who's worked with buyers before, who knows how to get offers accepted, yes, you're still going to face competition, but ultimately your chances are going to be that much better. Okay? None of it's going to be a promise. It's all going to be a matter of what you feel comfortable with in terms of writing up an offer, what your financial situation looks like, and how you're going to write it to be most appealing towards that seller in that given moment. Now, if you're a seller, I'm going to tell you this. It's looking good for you. It's looking like you're robbing the bank. And all I'm going to tell you to do is something pretty simple. And hopefully somebody's not going to fuck it up for you. Just talk to somebody who knows what they're doing in terms of a pricing strategy so that you can price your home competitively and then let the market work its magic. That's all. That's it. It's simple. It's simple. It's like you're robbing us blind. You're robbing all of us blind. But yet, that's what the market wants. Got to give it what it wants. So, take that as it may. And I hope that this information can serve valuable to you. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to me. Don't really care too much if you like or subscribe, as long as you learn something new, and hopefully I'll see you around.